If you listen to the headlines, you'll assume that Florida is a monolith. Either it's crashing and burning or it's booming. But the July 2026 mortgage monitor from ICE just dropped, and it's telling a completely different story. It's a tale of two different Floridas, and where you live makes all the difference. Welcome to Dre's Take. So here's the breakdown. Across the state of Florida, inventory has surged in most markets past pre-pandemic levels. We're talking about 2017 through 2019 inventory numbers. In these markets where the inventory has swelled, that's opening up a lot of options for would-be buyers. Now, if we could just make those homes affordable for buyers, we'd have one happy marriage. The two cities leading the pack with the greatest surge in inventory are Lakeland and Orlando. Lakeland's numbers sit at about 69% higher than their pre-pandemic levels, while Orlando sits at about 41% higher than its pre-pandemic levels. Again, we're talking 2017 through 2019 numbers. Ultimately, that means that sellers are losing leverage and price appreciation is slowing in these markets. Now, in very particular neighborhoods where overturn is low and demand is high, obviously that's not going to be the case. And when you're talking about the entry-level market where majority of buyers or larger demographic of buyers can afford, those homes that are move-in ready are probably going to sell pretty quickly, especially if they're priced well. However, it does mean that prices and inventory are locked in a classic economic dance in these markets. If you're a buyer in Lakeland or Orlando, you're not necessarily fighting tooth and nail over every listing, and you have more options available. However, if you're shopping in an area like Miami, the one exception to the rule in the state of Florida where inventory is still below pre-pandemic levels, it's still a pressure cooker, and you're probably in some steep competition on every listing that you go for. And this is why looking at statewide averages right now is completely useless. Long gone are the days of 2020 or 2021 when you could just throw a dart at a map and basically say inventory's low, prices are accelerating. And you'd be right. You'd sound like a real estate genius. You'd sound like Dre. But no longer is that the case. We're back into a market where true real estate experience and expertise really matter, as hyper-local dynamics are shaping your decisions, the way that you craft offers, the way you get creative about that stuff, what those conversations look like with the other side to see what matters to them. How much pressure can you put on a seller before they get irritated and frustrated and just don't want to deal with you? Shopping for homes and writing offers has become much more delicate. So here's my take. The macro real estate market just doesn't exist anymore. Real estate's always been local. Right now it's hyper local. What you can do in one subdivision is completely different from the way that you may attack a potential property in the subdivision right next door. For sellers, if you're in an area like Orlando, you can't price like it's 2022 anymore. You've got to be strategic. Pricing at or even slightly below what you assume the market value to be is actually a really good strategy for cooking up more demand and enticing multiple offer scenarios. You'll sell faster and likely at your true value or closer to it than if you tried the top-down approach most people think. Let's price it high and leave room for negotiation. That usually backfires. You end up with little demand, you sit on market longer, your price drop, and then people take advantage of your desperation. You end up selling for 5 or 10% less than what you could have. And for buyers, stop waiting on a statewide crash that is probably not gonna happen. Partner with a local realtor who understands the zip code, the area, the subdivisions that you particularly want to be in. Plan, plot, strategize, and then take action accordingly. Because the rules of the game change, not just once you step over county lines, but once you step into the next subdivision. In the meantime, if there's anything I can do to help you plan, plot, or strategize, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help. And until next week, that's Dre's Take. All right, y'all. Take care.